Let's move on to the next question from Olga. Valery Viktorovich, does someone in Russia really urgently need a state coup, which would force Putin to step down? Putin will leave in 2024 anyway. Federal Reserve in particular states that inflation level has decreased to 2% for the first time in 10 years. Is the situation in America really so bad? Just wait a little bit. Putin will leave. Russians, by mass, have a poor understanding of the common way of things. It is hard to read thick books on the conception. And it is even harder to change oneself. I can attest to that. Whereas the purpose of the conception is to drive us to change ourselves. What is the urgency with the state coup?
It is an urgent matter. There is a saying, one cannot enter a river twice. Why? Because the river flows. Every action of every man changes the world. An action of one man has little impact on the world, but the actions of many reflected in mass statistics do change the world a lot. However, an action of a man of influence, by means of knowledge or position in power, changes the world dramatically. Let me give you an example. We have talked about traitors, Vlasov soldiers. If one soldier runs to an enemy's side, it is minimal damage. The enemy will have an additional soldier who will shoot at you. Even if one squad runs to an enemy's side, it is a bigger damage, but not a catastrophic one. But if an army commander runs to an enemy's side, betray the oath, the motherland, it is a catastrophe for the whole army. It is a change of the strategic situation on the battlefront and for the country as a whole. That was done by Vlasov. We are still counting victims of motherland's betrayal by Gorbachev. It caused so much blood, suffering, and destruction. The global elite and the US country elite understand it well. They understand from a historic viewpoint that they need to put their own cadres to lead social movements and processes. Every day with Putin in office means that Russia will continue the course led by Putin for the last 18 years. While he was the head of state, including the time when he was prime minister, it is not the same as head of state, but nevertheless. What is Putin's course? It is obvious to everyone. Putin leads towards the restoration of Russia and obtaining Russia's sovereignty. Every day, under Putin's leadership, Russia becomes stronger and stronger. In the 1990s, Russia could be taken without firing a shot. It is different today. Russia's enemies come up with one sophisticated plan of Russia's sovereignty destruction after another. Putin is the only conceptually powerful leader of a country in the world. He is the Gosudar of Russia. Putin, being on top of the state power structure by conducting global politics, and Russia is absolutely sovereign in this regard, and solving tasks of internal and foreign policies through global politics is creating a new system of governance. That system will make it irrelevant who personally becomes the successor of Putin. But it won't be a dirtbag as Vlasov, Yeltsin, Gorbachev, Chubais, Gaidar, and alike anyway. Putin builds the system. Another day, another brick into the creation of that system. Wait for 4 years till Putin completes this system? It will be too late. Russia will be unbreakable. It is a catastrophe for them. They need to destroy Russia before completion of that system. Otherwise, Russia would lead the whole world. And the first step would be the creation of the United Europe from Vladivostok to Lisbon. They understand it perfectly well. That is why it is an urgent matter for them. There is a room for discussion with the global elite, but for the US country elite, Russia's restoration, it stabs to the heart. For one simple reason: the United States is an absolute parasite. 5% of the planet's population uses 50% of the world's energy resources and produces 40% of the world's trash. Continue that practice, and civilization on the planet Earth will be destroyed. Accordingly, America is destined to be reformed. But let's say the US country elite will win over the global elite, throw down Trump, and so on. But Russia's resources won't be accessible for them. It will be a hollow victory. How to live? Where to get resources? To follow Trump's template? Use own production to make a living? How to parasitize on the world? When Russia's resources won't be accessible. That is why the sooner the state coup happens in Russia, the easier it will go, and resources of Russia will be accessible for sure. That is why the US country elite and America's lackeys in Russia are pressed for time. That is why they fight against Russia by promoting the cult of traitors, by promoting tricolor instead of the true Russian red flag as a state flag, by fighting with symbols. It is a war, a full-blown war. When symbols of the country which defeated fascism are being removed from the red star in a TV commercial, it is not a human mistake. It is a deliberate effort, a purposeful war against Russian people. It is the first step of fascist propaganda. It is hatred towards Russian people. This is the last chance for the US country elite to overthrow Putin. It is the last and minimal chance. If they are unable to do it today, then tomorrow, Trump's re-election in 2020, the US country elite will lose the ability to influence the United States itself. They will lose their resources in the US alone to confront the global elite. That is why they have no time at all. 2020 is almost here. They need some good news, some resources, and based on that, to take back governance over America and keep America parasitizing the world. They don't care what will happen later with the world. The main thing for them to live life in grand style for 5 more years. That will be the end of it. Why only 5 years? Looks like resources would last longer. Bees are dying. Bees are dying. Einstein said civilization will end in 5 years without bees. Why are bees dying? Where did they start to die? In the United States, as a result of American lifestyle and management. And all these dumb America's lackeys don't understand anything at all. The main thing for them is to lick the boots and butt of their master to serve him. That is how they seek happiness. That is their destiny.